In three, two, one. Hello, and welcome to Cast of Strong Style. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined by my co host, Anwar Starwin. What's going on, Anwar?
Nothing much.
Glad you could join me today. We're going to talk some G1 special and the first three nights of the G1 climax. So I hope you're ready to review some of these great matches that we got to see and a great angle at the end of the G1.
For sure.
All right. So just to let you know, first out the gate, Cast of Strong Style is being brought to you by the CSPN. You can find us on the net at cspn.us. So the Cow Palace show happened, the G1 special in San Francisco. The New Japan coming back to run their standalone show here in the United States. And we got started off with a 10-man tag. We had Yoshihashi, Gedo, Rocky Romero, Sho, and Yo, Chaos versus Haku, Tamatanga, Tangaloa, Yujiro Takahashi, and Chase Owens, aka the Bullet Club. King Haku, he gets in and he gets the Tonga death grip on Gato. Then Tonga hits Gato with the gun stun, and the Bullet Club gets the win. So it was really cool to see Haku out here with his kids, messing people up, goozling guys. Really nice way to start the show.
Yeah, it was. I have no complaints about the opening match, and it's just set up the evening pretty perfectly.
Right, right. Our next match, we had Torohoro Ishii, easy for me to say, and Yanu versus Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. blocks the low blow and applies the European clutch, and Yano kicks at it too. Zack Sabre Jr. blocks the low blow, but Ishii gets it the second time and hits the lariat, and Ishii and Yano get the win.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprising victory considering like their previous match. I didn't expect them to like win in that manner because I believe it was Yano that like set up everything if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he sure did.
So that was a surprise, but it was another good match. You got the interaction between Ishii and Suzuki, and you had Suzuki beating up like young lions. So it just they gave you that nice, authentic New Japan Suzuki gun behavior.
Right, right. The ace, Tanahashi and Kushida faced off against Hangman Page and Marty Scurll. Hangman Page hits the buckshot lariat on Kushida. Kushida then hits the Pele kick and attacks Page's arm. Page counters back and hits the rites of passage, and Hangman Page and Marty Scurll get the win.
It was a good like match momentum wise for Hangman going into the tournament. So you kind of did need that victory just for more like high energy
Mm-hmm.
going ahead, but it was good for Marty too, also because he's a champion with the 6 man tag. So good stuff, and my man Kushida ate the fall, but hey, it is what it is.
Right. It was just a cool visual to see Tanahashi and Kushida tag team together.
Yeah, yeah, it was because like the dominance of their particular divisions, especially.
Right, right. Next, we had Goto versus Jeff Cobb for the never open weight title. Jeff Cobb fires up, but Goto hits a lariat, a headbutt, and the Ishigoroshi for a 2 count. Jeff Cobb counters the GTR, but Goto hits version 1 and he hits version 2, and Goto gets the win and retains the never open weight title. I thought this was a really good match. Jeff Cobb is a good big guy and really brought it to Goto. I thought this match was really good.
Yeah, Cobb was a really good challenger, especially for that crowd because they were really hot for him. Like he's locally from that area. It was like, whoa, these people are really into Cobb. But like, I thought it was also cool that Goto was like, oh, this is how y'all feel. I'm gonna just adjust to the situation and play heel. And Goto was playing great as a heel. I wish more wrestlers were like when they see it, they're obviously not the fan favorite. Adjust the situation
Mm-hmm.
for that night. I've seen Tanahashi do this. I've seen Okada do it. So I definitely like that about New Japan. Like the experienced people, like if a crowd is not feeling them, they will adjust and be the heel that night.
Right.
So
Right. We had the Young Bucks in a rematch against Evil and Sonata for the IWGP Tag Team titles. Matt Jackson counters everything is evil and he hits a super kick. Then we get super kicks on Sonata as he tries to fly in. Then the Meltzer driver finishes off Evil, and the Young Bucks retain the IWGP Tag Team titles. This was a fun match. Maybe not as good as the original title switch match, but definitely gave the crowd in California, what they came to see.
definitely, because it was you heard the chants once it was time for that match. They came to see the
Mm-hmm.
Young Bucks do their thing, and the only thing about like Evil and Sonata is just sad that like Evil got hurt early in their
Mm-hmm.
title reign because they probably could have had at least two more defenses. It feels like yes, they're singles wrestlers, but they're really entertaining as a tag team, and this is just another example of it. So props to Evil Sonata helping make the tag division heavyweight level more entertaining. And maybe someday again we'll see them tag. But yeah, it was another entertaining tag match. Not as good as the Dominion match, but it was more like more athletic, if you can say, more like athleticism in that match, this match than the previous match. Whereas the other one had a mixture of athleticism and scientificness, psychology with their match, with the
Right.
match.
Yeah, much more storytelling in the original
Very
championship match.
so, yeah, that was a really dope match.
Mm-hmm. It was. Had more of like an indie, just the pace was up and they were,
Yeah,
hitting each other with really big moves. That's kind of what this match felt like.
that's exactly what it was.
Right. So we had Okada and Will Ospreay versus Naito and Bushi. Bushi looks for the MX, but Ospreay cuts him off with a kick. Okada drop kicks Naito and they brawl back to the floor. Ospreay fires up and he hits the Robinson special and then the Stormbreaker on Bushi, and Will Ospreay and Okada are victorious.
It was fitting that it was Osprey that got the victory and they got the win because Okada hasn't been doing that great in his getting victories of late. If you would pay
Right.
attention, but yeah, they make a really good tag team. Naito and Bushi, they don't disappoint. So it was just a really good tag match and nice tease of future heavyweight potential matches. So
Right. Right. Chaos and Lij rarely disappoint in any type of combination.
yep, they don't.
We have Hiromu Takahashi, the ticking time bomb. Shout out to JPK Moto versus Dragon Lee for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title match. Dragon Lee hits the Descadora and he gets a near fall. Takahashi, counters back with a destroyer for another near fall. Then Takahashi hits the time bomb, and Hiromu Takahashi defends the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title with possibly a broken freaking neck as he took a bad landing on a Phoenix Plex, and it wasn't good when it happened. I was like, oh my God, how didn't he break his neck? Because he continued to wrestle like for another like 30, 45 seconds. And then the next day, all the reports started coming out that yes, he was injured. The severity is still really not known. Some people are saying it's a broken neck. Other people are saying, nah, he just jacked up his neck. But either way, man, Takahashi got hurt and that sucked.
It was an awesome match. Not one of their best matches, but still one of the best matches on that card.
Mm-hmm.
Like the particular spots you're talking about, I noticed it, But the one that made me uncomfortable was the thing that they did in the corner where I think Dragon Lee was coming down on Hiromu as he was on. It was near the beginning of the match that disturbed the hell out of me. So it's it's only fitting that this happened in this match because those two go so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can get hurt any type of way wrestling, so I'm not going to be that guy. But it's just sometimes stuff happens, man. But maybe wrestlers shouldn't have to wrestle 4 times in one day, like I heard Dragon Lee just did. That's not probably the best strategy going forward. Try to like split that up, but I mean, Hiromu's a great wrestler. I wish him well, and I hope he gets healthy. I haven't revisited that match because it's kind of depressing. Because I like for me, Hiromu was in the running for Wrestler of the Year. Now he's just on the shelf, messed up, and it sucks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it really does suck. So, like you said, good luck to Hiromu Takahashi. Hope he gets well and hope he can get back into the ring and continue to give us, these great matches that he's been putting on in 2018. Next, we move on to Jay White versus Juice Robinson for the IWGP United States title. Jay White attacks the broken left hand and he hits a sleeper suplex. Jay White dumps Juice on his head with another suplex. The Blade Runner gets countered, and Juice gets the cradle, and Juice Robinson becomes the new IWGP United States champion.
That match.
Oh, go ahead.
That match shocked me. Cause this is one of the things where you do stuff fantasy booking for a tournament and it backfires on you. I was like, Juice ain't gonna win this title. Juice is destined to beat Goto and challenge him for the Never Championship. That's his destiny. Nope. They fool the facts on you. They make you think things are gonna go one way and then it doesn't, but it actually works for Juice's character. And him being the first like American champion as U.S. champion gives it even more power. So that match was awesome. Juice is great to see Juice finally win, and Switchblade is a hell of a heel. He's a hell of a heel. And I mean, we saw what happened with JR and Barnett
right.
at the time. I thought it was just a work.
A spot? You thought it was a spot?
I thought it was a work. Come to find out, no, it was not a work. Thank God Jay got away, because if he would have not gotten away.
Yeah, Josh Barnett would have done a physical harm to him for real.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, literally, Josh Barnett went. Okay, so let me set it up. All night, guys have been, New Japan. If you guys watch the product, the railing, guys getting ran into the railing is a big deal. Well, unfortunately, here at this show, they had the old school gray slatted railings, and they weren't connected. So every time people were getting thrown into them, they were moving like 3, 4, 5 feet into the crowd. And so they kind of done an outside spot before, and then they went back outside again, and they got right up next against where the announce table was for JR and Josh Barnett, and Jay White suplexed Juice Robinson into the guardrail. And of course, that guardrail moved 4 feet and it hit the table into JR, which broke like a couple of ribs and knocked him out of his chair. And then that got Josh Barnett hot, and he literally said on Live Access TV, "Oh, they done fucked up now," and got out of his seat and was chasing Jay White around the ring. And Jay White running in the ring, get out of the ring, come back in the ring, get out of the ring. And Josh Barnett finally kind of gave up the chase. But yeah, it got real for a second there.
It was like, it made me think of Coyote and the Roadrunner when I was a child. That's basically what that was.
Juice Robinson, kind of predicted what was going to happen in that great promo he cut on the night where Switchblade broke his hand. And he said that, he likes to win his matches by hitting the big left hand and Pulp Friction, but he can roll a motherfucker up. He's rolled up Kenny Omega, and Jay White, you ain't above getting rolled up, and that's exactly what happened. So congratulations to Juice Robinson, your new IWGP US champion.
And with that victory, that leaves Goto as the only champion in Chaos at the moment.
Right. And then we move to our main event of the evening.
Main event.
Kenny Omega versus Cody for the IWGP Heavyweight title. Cody counters a V-trigger, and they trade strikes. Then we get 2 V-triggers that land by Omega. We get a double underhook pile driver, and that gets a 2 count. We get a V-trigger, and then the one-wing angel connects, and Kenny Omega retains the IWGP Heavyweight title. This was a good match. The only thing that I felt about this whole show, especially this match, was that it didn't have that great build-up like New Japan matches usually have, where you get that like 7-minute build-up to the finish, where you get the close near falls and the spectacular this and spectacular that, and you kind of feel them turn up, and it's like, oh man, we're getting ready to come to something, the big climax. It just kind of felt like all these finishes in all the matches, to me, just came out of the blue. Like they were going, and then bam, somebody got pinned. Like, oh, it's over? Okay.
I kind of think that's good for going into G1, because in G1 you never know. Like sometimes you will just get hit with something and lose. That's just how it is. It's not no elongated back and forth. Sometimes you just get hit with something, or you choked out with something, or you submit it. It's just, so it's kind of good, because every type of big match can't necessarily have that type of like format. So I'm cool with them switching it up and doing different things.
Okay. All right. So after the match, Kenny Omega helps Cody to his feet. Cody leaves as Omega talks about successfully defending the title, and he's proud to be the champion to do it here in the Cow Palace. Then, as they're all doing their big lap, and they go back up the ramp, we get Tama Tonga, Haku, and Tonga Loa come out to celebrate. So we have the whole Bullet Club out here on the stage. Everybody's throwing up the 2 sweet, or in the Young Bucks case, the 1 sweet. And then all of a sudden, Tama Tonga attacks Omega. They beat him and beat him all the way down back to the ring. Basically, Tonga Loa and Haku join in, and they are just whooping on Kenny Omega. They beat him up really bad, and then all of a sudden, they take off their Bullet Club shirts to reveal their own shirts, the Bullet Club Firing Squad.
Yup. So, I mean, for me, I've been waiting for them to flip the switch on them guys for like about a year. I've been waiting. So it wasn't that surprising. It's just, when was they going to do it? And it felt like that was the right time to do it. So I was like, why would you turn your back on Tama Tonga after what he tried to do to you at G1 the previous year? Like, why would you turn your back? This dude did not come out when you won the championship. All of this stuff I remember, bro. So, and then I thought about the fact that the Bucks took the 6-man tag titles from them.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Fox and his brother, and also are hogging up the heavyweight tag division belts too. So I was like, y'all ain't see this coming? I saw it coming.
It was damn good, man. I mean, Haku was in there jacking folks up. Tama Tonga was looking strong. Tonga Loa out there, roughhousing, powering people around. Cody actually came down and tried to make the save, and he got washed too. So that led to that actually led to a really cool moment where, the Bullet Club is like licking their wounds, and Cody and Omega have to kind of like help each other up, and they're kind of doing the Jordan and Pippen, like helping each other back up the ramp. So that part of the Bullet Club looks like they've kind of fused things back together, but the Tonga coalition has gone out on their own.
They're out on their own. Even Honorary Tonga got that L.
Yeah, so I thought this was a really good show. Like I said, I just kind of felt a little off to me just because I was looking for those kind of build ups and then those good finishes. But all in all, it was a really entertaining show. I really enjoyed it, and then that finishing angle just really set forth what's going to come here in G1, leading for the rest of the year, basically.
The fact that they got back together so fast just makes people wonder, is this the final run for some of these dudes?
Right, right,
Because most friendships, when they have a falling out, they don't just make up that fast. Sometimes it takes a couple of weeks or months. The
right.
fact of the speed of how fast that happened make you like, okay, which one of y'all about to roll?
And what Anwar is alluding to is that the WWE has been sniffing around the chicken coop of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and possibly Cody as well. It maybe not, it hasn't been out as far as in the news reports, but the Young Bucks and Omega for sure have they're on the WWE's radar, and I'm sure there's been contact ever since that All In happened. WWE definitely has had the Young Bucks for sure back on their radar.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
And they
see.
be even more on their radar
Yeah.
with ROH and New Japan doing that show during the WrestleMania weekend in New
Mm.
York. So
Yeah, that's a big deal, really big deal. WWE tried to pull a power play. It
mhm.
worked for a couple of weeks, and somehow, I don't know, I heard Sinclair was threatening to sue, and they got their,
Sinclair got money too. People sleep on Sinclair. Sinclair got a lot of money and they
yeah,
got lawyers. Oh,
yeah,
they can play that game if you want.
right. And usually the WWE plays that game with other people, but they ran up against somebody that's got a little bit more money than them this time, and they were like, okay, y'all can do what y'all need to do.
Yep. Only
Yeah.
thing they can do is just put the best possible show on as possible and whatever. Because
Let me ask you this question, because right now, I think if you were to ask a lot of people, survey a lot of people, is they're really becoming disenchanted with the WWE main roster product, and whatever factors you want to contribute that to, okay. I feel like the situation is ripening for somebody to come in and be the competition. And with ROH finally bursting through and getting the MSG venue where they're going to be that, just that venue is going to elevate their platform to a level they've never been. Could this be the springboard for ROH becoming the true alternative to WWE?
I don't think you should even focus on competing directly with WWE because that's
Right.
when you're going to
That's
fall
that's
into their traps.
right. That's why I said alternative, not compete with them. Just be an alternative, something different.
As an alternative, they can do it, but they need to develop more of the homegrown guys, and they need to not develop their entire show around the Bullet Club. They have to do. They have to focus on young talent and develop them, and not be everything about the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club is great and whatnot, but you shouldn't have your entire federation designed around one faction. It's
Right.
not good and not healthy in the long run, especially if those guys are like, you know what, we don't need these people anymore. Let's go and do our own thing or go sign with WWE in a way where we can move back and forth through the indies. So,
Mm-hmm. All right. So I mean, I
because,
just been thinking of,
because let's be real, a New Day versus Elite match will probably make them a lot of money.
yeah, WrestleMania.
That will probably make them a lot of money. Not even Kenny as a solo, just those six wrestlers in a match. That will make them a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money. So we'll see.
I mean, you see how much traffic those video game interactions have gotten when Xavier plays Omega, or they all show up in the same place, and Xavier films everything and puts it up on his YouTube channel, and I mean it gets traffic. So yeah, the wrestling community is just salivating for them to be able to do that match in some type of shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah. But only thing I could advise people is don't expect to see the same person that you're rooting for in Independence in WWE because things tend to change when they get there, understandably because of the length of their touring schedule, and they just can't do those same matches and be effective in WWE. People need to understand that. So it's like,
Right, right. It was kind of like back in the day when WWE would bring guys from ECW, and if you were an ECW fan, you kind of got used to a certain way that those guys went
mhm.
hard, and then when they got to WWE, you were like, "Oh, this is a powder puff version."
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how some people feel about AJ right now.
Yeah, I just think the booking hasn't been great with the changing switching Nakamura heel and trying to get that over and just all that. I don't think the booking has done him any favors. But maybe if we get this, if they focus on this Samoa Joe and it's a one-on-one match and they build it right, maybe he can kind
They,
of
they
change the
got,
narrative a little bit.
yeah, they got Joe, they got Dragon, but they're not doing nothing with it. So it's just like you got the talent, but you're not pulling the triggers. Like, love AJ. I'm happy that he's been champion, but his this championship run ain't that been that impressive to me.
Right.
It's like he's been champion for a long time, and that's dope. But it's like, okay, it's this has not been an impressive title run to me. But whatever, let's go on to something else.
We're going to move into the G1 Climax Night 1, the A Block. We start off with Togi Makabe versus Yoshihashi and his wig. We get a lariat by Makabe, the spider German suplex follows, and the King Kong knee drop finishes Yoshihashi, and Togi Makabe gets the first 2 points of this year's G1 Climax.
Yoshihashi almost had me believing that he was going to win that match for a second, and that's the quality of New Japan. Because on paper, you look at that and you be like, Kami ain't gonna lose to this dude. But then you see the match, and it's like, okay, Kami, you came to work. Okay, Yoshihashi, that's how you start the G1, buddy.
Yeah, that was a good opener for the get the tournament started off on a good note. Next up, we have the new and improved Slim and Trim Bad Luck Fale versus Hangman Page. So this was kind of the first fallout match after the big G1 special angle where we had a Tongan versus the honorary Tongan, and some very interesting comments by Bad Luck Fale after the match in his press conference. But Fale fights off the rites of passage, and then Tama Tonga runs in and chop blocks the knee. They all beat down Hangman Page, and Bad Luck Fale gets DQ'd. That leads to Omega, Ibushi, and Chase Owens making the save.
Yeah, man, that was like, those two used to be in a tag team champions as a never 6-man champions. So it's like, damn, you going at your ex tag partner like that? But yeah, I mean that the fact that we got a DQ in the second match of the tournament, I was not expecting that because we all know points are important and like Fale is good for at least 10 points each tournament. So
Yeah, I think he's gotten 11 in the last 3 or so.
so it's like I guess the story they was telling that's great and all, but we're here to send a message right now, and it's kind of fun to see them go back to their own roots and being really dirty rule breakers. And it's funny how their former leader kind of showed some of the same things this past week on Raw.
They basically jumped Hangman Page out of the honorary Tongans is what they did.
was Hangman ever honorary Tongan? I thought that was just Chase.
That was just Chase? Okay, all right.
I think that was Chase gimmick.
Okay.
My man Hangman had the bolo tie on at the press conference.
Yeah, looking like a new and improved Boss Hog.
Hey man, the fans were feeling Hangman if you listen to the crowd.
He's been really on a good run and a good roll the past 3 months or so, man. They've really done a good job of putting wins behind them and having those tag matches, getting the pins, and things like that. So, nice way to make him a real player in
He
this.
is so over that Chono's and Liger's pick'ems. Chono picked Hangman to win the fucking G1. That's Mr. G1 pick you to win the G1. That's big props right there. That's somewhat. That's the old heads recognize you. You getting better, bro.
Yeah, for sure. We had Michael Elgin versus Evil. The superplex connects and Elgin covers but gets a 2 count. Elgin hits the buckle bomb and the burning hammer is countered. Elgin hits Splash Mountain and he hits the Elgin bomb and he gets the win over Evil.
I was shocked at the victory, but this G1 and Elgin is a former never champion, former Intercontinental champion, so he does have some credibility in New Japan. But I was like, no way Evil loses this match. And that's the beauty of G1. You just can't automatically think somebody's going to win or lose based on their standing. Because everybody loses at some point during the tournament. But Evil and Elgin have really good chemistry, so this is another example of that.
Right. Our main event for night one of semi-main event, excuse me, was Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Minoru Suzuki. Tanahashi hits a dragon screw and Suzuki is down, screaming in pain because his knee got wrenched. Tanahashi fires up and hits the sling blade for a 2 count. Tanahashi heads up top and he hits the high fly flow. Then Tanahashi heads back up top and hits another high fly flow. And that finally puts Suzuki away. And Tanahashi gets a hard fought victory over Minoru Suzuki.
Let's just keep it real. Suzuki kicked his and he just pulled that horseshoe out of his butt and pulled the victory out. I was like, how the hell did he win this match?
Right. That dragon screw leg whip was just desperation.
That dragon screw turned around the game. I literally was like, yo, I watched Suzuki for many years. I've never heard him scream like that. So I was like, is he really hurt? And then, yeah, that match was I was like, yo, this match was, I did not see any of this coming, but that was, man, that was a really good match.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Good semifinal, semi-main event, excuse me. Next up, we get Kazuchika Okada versus Jay White. The Rainmaker connects, but Jay White hit the ref as Okada swung him around. White low blows Okada and then gives Okada a chair shot. Jay White hits the Blade Runner, and Jay White gets the upset victory over his Chaos stablemate.
Man, a lot of people picked Jay to win this match. They just didn't predict how he was going to win the match. We've seen Chaos members wrestle each other in G1 before, but we've never seen Chaos members do what they did to each other in this match. Primarily, Jay just breaking all, he just went totally rogue and did all type of just heinous, dirty crap to win the match. And it's just like, he said he was going to do this type of stuff, and he kept it 100. So can't get mad at him for like doing that. And the interaction post match, we was messing with Rocky, and Rocky don't even know what to say because he's like, "Come on, man, we brothers. We don't want to be doing this to each other. We do this to other people." And man, I'm loving the new version of Okada. He feels so free without the championship. Yes, he's not getting the results, but those will come eventually. But man, Jay White out here just killing it.
I've heard it referenced as broken Okada here lately. He's got like red, pink, purple hair going on. He's coming to the ring and kind of like a trance state, it looks like. He's got balloons he's throwing out to the crowd. Yeah, it's a whole different Okada.
Yep, remix music. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it was so awkward watching him not wear that belt coming out here for this match.
Man, he had it so long, so I mean,
Yeah, it's like he looks different. Something's missing. Oh yeah, you don't have the belt. That's what it is. So
it's like looking at Okada now is like looking at a person that was in a long term relationship and was so tied and connected to something, but then it got stripped away, and they're trying to find themselves, and
right.
sometimes find themselves differently. Some people become even more happy and freeing without that burden or that situation dragging them down. So that's you can look at it that way too, because he seems more freer and he's having more fun. So
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Just a reminder that this is Cast a Strong Style. I'm your host, Don Delarente. I'm joined by my co-host, Anwar Starwin. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. All you have to do is subscribe and download Cast a Strong Style. So we get night 2, and this is going to be the B block. So we have Ishii versus Yanu, tag team partners going against each other. Ishii hits the lariat and then the sliding D, and that gets a 2 count. Yano grabs the ref and gets a near fall off of a cradle. Ishii blocks the low blow. Then Ishii hits a low blow of his own, and he cradles Yano, and he gets the win. I think what everybody who watch this match will have their mind blown is that Yano actually, for the most part, wrestled a straight up match.
it's been a long time since I've seen Yano like wrestle a straight up match. I remember when he was in the tag team with Maccabee and they would just beat people the hell up. So it's been a while. So to see him just wrestle, just straight up wrestle without no mischief, that was really cool to see. And the fact that his tag team partner that he wrestles with the most used his own tricks against him just made me love that finish even more.
Exactly. Exactly.
So and then I like how like Chaos old and new is becoming a faction where they are not against punching a dude in the balls to get a big. I was like, I was like, you can blame Yana for all that crap because it all started with him.
Right. Right. The two biggest newsmakers from the G1 special, they squared off next as we had Juice Robinson versus Tama Tonga. Juice looks for Pope friction, but Tonga Loa distracts him and Juice attacks Tonga Loa. Juice works over Loa with jabs and the big left hand. Then Tonga hits the gun stun and Tama Tonga got the win.
Tama Tonga needed that victory after the G1 special. He needs a lot of people to get behind him in the office to make this work long term. So, and plus, Juice is already hurt and he's recovering from a hard fought title match versus Jay White and coming from another country. So this doesn't hurt Juice as a champion. So and this ultimately opens up opportunity for Tama Tonga to challenge Juice at another point in time if he should sure choose to, because I believe there's rattling that another New Japan show is going to be happening in the fall in California. So that's a possibility.
Right.
It's a title match.
We have Goto versus Sanada. You get a headbutt got by Goto, and then the GTR follows, but the second GTR is countered into a cradle for a near fall. Sanada cuts off Goto and moonsaults into the skull end, but Goto counters out into a draping GTR. The proper GTR connects, and Goto gets the win. Super
I
athletic is the first thought that comes to my mind. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'll follow you.
Okay, super athletic by Sonata. The different variations of how he was putting Goto in the skull in was fantastic. Just a guy who's just waiting for his time to be the super duper star in New Japan. Hopefully, it comes in the next couple of years, but I just think sky is the limit for Sonata. I'm so high on him.
I've been hoping for Sonata to break out since the last tournament. He had a good tournament, but Evil broke out more than him. and created more separation in the singles realm as them. So this past year with the title defense versus Okada and his work and with Evil in the tag team has been really good for Sonata. This match I thought it would be good. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. And people could say what they want about Goto, but when Goto steps up, he really steps up. And it was a great match, and I was surprised at the result. I thought Sonata will win, and maybe that will be a never championship match in the future for those two. But I'm fine with Goto winning, and it helps build him up going into the match against Kenny. So I'm also like one thing I noticed in that match. It seems like this is the thing. If you watch Sonata, he every once in a while against a certain wrestlers, he teases at that doing the Destino as a counter. He's done it. He did it again in that match to me, and he just missed hitting Goto with it. So I feel like he's been teasing that move for a while. I really believe at some point the time that he probably will connect it using it is probably going to be against Naito.
Mm.
So I don't know if it'll be happening this tournament or some point in the future. In a year or so, I just feel he's going to hit him with Destino. Hit him with Destino for sure.
All right.
So that was an awesome semi-main event.
One of the matches that I was looking forward to once the early matches were announced, once they announced all the matches and the matchups, Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. counters the head kick into an octopus hold, and he ties up both arms. Ibushi counters, but loses him as they fall back into the ropes. Zack Sabre Jr. Gets back into the Cobra Twist, but Ibushi hits a Snapdragon suplex and a head kick. Ibushi drops the knee pad, but Sabre counters the Kamigoye into a European clutch for 2. They work into counters as Ibushi hits a straight jacket suplex and Kamigoye for the win.
What the things I find fascinating about Zack and Kota's matches, they work so many different styles within it. But the fact that Kota has been able to beat Zack wrestling his style in 2 out of 3 matches is amazing. And it just shows like the versatility of both wrestlers. But the fact that Kota can beat Zack at his own game is just amazing because Zack is just great.
Yeah,
I got no complaints about this match. It was a nice variation from everything else that was on the card, and that's the beauty of New Japan. You get different type of matches.
That's why I love watching Zack Sabre Jr. because every match he has with anybody is a different match than you're going to see on the card. Just because his style alone makes other people have to kind of think differently. Because I mean, if you throw your arm out there lazy, he's going to grab it and put you in some type of hold. If you throw a kick up there lazy, he's going to counter it and put you into an ankle lock or a knee bar or something like that. So you really have to be economical with your movements when you face him. And I think it just makes for really great matches. That catch-as-catch-can style is just fantastic.
Yep.
Like, to me, I really wish modern wrestling would have went more that way and more of the UFC kind of submission, grappling, mat wrestling steel instead of the more hot spots, top rope, big bumps, through table, crash and burn type stuff.
I'm over for a lot of different things, but yeah, it just feels like things escalate further and further, and it gets scary watching sometimes.
Right. Because I mean, you know, how high can you fall off of something? You know, I mean, what's the next thing you can jump off of, or you know, how many tables can you realistically, you know, keep going through? You know, whereas Zack Sabre Jr. has a match with none of that stuff. And, you know, it's one of the most entertaining things you can watch time in and time out.
He had that one scary bump with Kota during the match.
Where they kind of lost their balance a little bit. Yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah.
Accidents can happen still, regardless.
Right. So our main event for night 2, the 2 guys who have put on the 2 best matches the last 2 years of the G1 tournaments, Kenny Omega versus Naito. The Oka gym definitely was pro Naito. Kenny had his followers too, but not as many as Naito. So Naito hits a Destino, but Omega somehow kicks out at the very last minute. Naito pulls him up. Destino is countered, and Naito hits a Uranagi, but Omega counters the Destino. We get a rolling kick by Naito. Destino is countered again into a 6 set out tombstone by Omega. Omega then hits a double underhook power driver, but Naito is able to kick out. Omega hits the V trigger, and then he hits the one winged angel, and he defeats Tatsuya Naito. Balls to the wall, pace, 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 and it's right there with. It's not as good as the final that had that long time limit a couple of years ago, but it's still right up there with their other G1 matches that they've had. These two guys have great chemistry. I don't really think they like each other in a professional sense, so that always maybe adds a little bit more when they get together, as they're always trying to show the office who's really the man. And man, it makes for great matches and entertainment for us.
Oh yeah, yeah. They bring the best out of each other, and it's that battle between who wants to. We both want. We both want the company to do well, but we want to be at the top, pushing things forward. So it's just they deliver classics when they wrestle each other, and that's just all I can say. They deliver classics. They do not disappoint every time they wrestle in single matches. And I, someone else said this, but it's something I left the match thinking. It's like these guys are like Hiromu and Dragon Lee in the heavyweight division.
Right.
They have such great levels of matches, but they do a lot of shit that scares you. and
Right.
you and then you're like, I get why New Japan don't do this match too much because it's like these dudes will kill each other. So that like they, hey man, you give me Omega Knights once every year, I'm good, bro.
Right. That sit out tombstone was disgusting. Oh my gosh.
Man, like they were countering on top rope, and then Naito hit him with the avalanche power bomb, then hit him with the Destino. That combo, I was like, that's it, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kicked out. And I also thought it was really cool that Naito broke up Uranagi because that Uranagi was a counter that Omega used primarily on primarily used on Okada in certain situations. So I was like, that's pretty cool right there.
Mm-hmm. And then they had to call back to the match last year where he busted Naito open when he actually hard weighed him on the ring post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had that call back to that. So yeah, just high level wrestling match between Omega and Naito. So definitely, if you have New Japan World and you haven't checked that out, definitely check out the semi main event and the main event for all 3 nights so far of the G1. They've really been good.
Yeah, very much delivered.
This episode of Cast of Strong Style is being brought to you by Amazon.com. Please do your shopping through CSPN.us and Amazon.com to help keep Cast of Strong Style free each and every week. All you have to do is go to our website, CSPN.us, click on the menu tab, click on the tab that says help keep the podcast free, and then the very first tab will be Amazon. Do your purchasing like you normally would, and some of your purchase comes back to us to help keep Cast of Strong Style free each and every week for you. So please, CSPN and Amazon.com, do it today. We're going to talk about night 3, which was A block matches, as we had Michael Elgin versus Hangman Page. Michael Elgin counters the buckshot lariat. Elgin hits a lariat and hits Splash Mountain for a great near fall. Elgin hits a buckle bomb, followed by a tiger bomb, and the Elgin bomb finally finishes off Hangman Page. Michael Elgin may be a despicable human being, but god damn, he has awesome matches in New Japan. This was another one.
It was another awesome match, and it was a good match to help like spotlight Hangman in the company in Japan. So it delivered on multiple fronts. So I agree fully about the problematic Hoss, Michael Elgin.
Yoshihashi and his wig faced off with Evil. Evil counters Karma and hits a half and half suplex. The lariat follows for two. Evil connects with Everything is Evil, and Evil is victorious.
Yeah, I mean Yoshihashi did a good, admirable performance, but my boy Evil got his victory, so all's
Right,
good in order.
right. Next up, we had a house fight alert as we had Toga Makabe versus Minoru Suzuki.
Oh boy.
Makabe takes Suzuki up top and he hits the spider suplex. Suzuki gets to his feet, but Makabe hits a flying knee. Makabe then goes back up top and he hits the King Kong knee drop, and Makabe is victorious over Minoru Suzuki.
That match surprised me. I did not expect Makabe to pull that victory out. And the fire that he showed in that match, oh my god, that was great brawling. Like
Yeah,
if you're a fan of that type of wrestling, you really need to check that match out.
that was like a Stan Hansen Japan match where they spent like 75% of it outside the ring. I think Marty Asami got beat up more in the beginning than Makabe did from Suzuki, because goodness, he got tossed around.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff, good stuff, good brawling action, kind of change up, all these technical wizardry wrestling matches that we've had so far in the G1, just to get a good old fashioned brawl going on.
That's true. Like I've been watching with the English commentary, so I do need to go back and watch some of these in Japanese to just get a different feel of these matches. That
Right.
right, that match right there in particular would probably be really fun to listen to in Japanese.
Mm-hmm. Okada faced off against Bad Luck Fale. Okada drop kicks, Fale into the ref. Then Tamatanga arrives and hits the gun stunt on Okada. Fale hits the Bad Luck Fall, and Bad Luck Fale picks up the win over Okada.
Oh man, I thought Little Kazu was going to pull it out, but then old school Bullet Club tricks worked again. So I mean, it's finally got his points, and we continue the trying to find himself Okada storyline.
Right.
This seems like he's flipped positions with Tanahashi, where Tanahashi
Mm-hmm.
started slow for the last couple of years and then caught fire. I wonder if they're going to do that with Okada this year, or he's just going to continuously just be like show strength but not get wins. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Um, I really enjoyed this match. I don't know what it is about Okada, but man, Fale comes to wrestle when he wrestles Okada, and they put on some really good matches, even without the interference and everything. It was a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
thoroughly
All he's done,
entertaining.
and he's looking like he's stepping up even more without less of that weight on him. So
Right, right. Our main event was Tanahashi versus the Switchblade Jay White. Now, for the record, I did watch this one with the Japanese commentary. Good stuff. Tanahashi heads up top and hits the high fly crossbody. Jay White rolls through, but Tanahashi hits a straight jacket German suplex for a 2 count. Jay White then shoved the ref into the ropes as Tanahashi was up top again, and Tanahashi gets crushed. Jay White then gets a chair. He levels Tanahashi. He follows up with the Blade Runner, and Jay White, in consecutive G1 appearances, has beaten Okada and now Hiroshi Tanahashi.
and then you add in his victory over Omega at the beginning of the year. He's beaten three of the big four in New Japan, and at some point he's going to get to Naito. And if you're thinking people outside of that big four, who's knocking on getting that spot, that'll be Ibushi. So he has a couple more people to go after, but the fact he knocked off the three biggest stars in the company, that shows you how they feel about Jay White, buddy. Yeah, I mean, Jay got his victory, talked his crap after the match, got under Rocky Skin some more. It didn't let off his little catchphrase. Just everybody just breathe. Oh, Jay White is a great antagonist. Heel and ain't no shades of gray with him. Either you hate him or you love him, and if you love him, I think you're kind of a psychopath. But I'm not judging you.
I can actually get with this new Jay White. I like it.
Ah man, Jay White is just like he like at the beginning of the year, it looks like Tommaso Ciampa was just running away with being the best heel. And now Jay White is just like, oh, hold up, player. I got some fire for you too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's really turned up the gear. It looked like kind of at first he was trying to find his footing with it, but here in the last like 2 months, the stuff with Juice really got him into a comfort zone, and man, now he's just off and running.
I think that the point where things really turned for him, like, was the little series with Finley and him beating Finley and then cutting that promo after that match.
Right.
From that point forward to now, he's been on fire.
Right. So those were the first 3 nights of the G1. We're having a little break, so they'll be resuming coming up on Thursday, and we'll get another 3 or 4 days worth of events, and we'll try to come back every 3 or 4 shows with another episode, so we don't have too much to talk about all at once, so you guys can kind of keep abreast with what's going on all the way through the end of the tournament. So a lot of matches yet to come, a lot of twists and turns. There's going to be injuries and guys are going to get banged up and be taped up, but the level of the matches don't seem to suffer from that. The guys seem to work harder and give us better quality matches once they get banged up later on in the tournament. So I'm looking forward to this one. Jay White's off to a fast start. We've also got Makabe off to a fast start, so we'll see who kind of trails off and who picks up as these days wind down in the G1. But if you don't have New Japan World, please get New Japan World. If you've been thinking about on the fence, this is the best time to subscribe to it, because you'll get a chance to get introduced to all the major players, and the underneath tag team matches are really fun too, and you'll get to see some of the lighter weight guys and the underneath guys put on some really good matches with some of these top guys that are going to be in the G1 as well. So definitely spend the $9 a month and get New Japan World. Is definitely worth it. So at this point, Anwar, I'll open it up to you for any final thoughts about the first 3 nights of the G1 and shout outs and thank yous.
It's always a joy when G1 comes, because you're going to get some of the best matches of the year. And thus far, just like that night 2 was amazing, as far as like not even just the tournament matches, but actually the multi-man matches had a lot of funk to it too. So yeah, this is always a great time of the year. So just try to enjoy it. Pace yourself. You don't necessarily have to like watch every show on the same day as it comes out. Take your time with it. Make time for it when you can, and come back and just interact with us and share your opinions.
Right. You could do that on Twitter by using the hashtag Cast of Strong Style. You can also follow our Twitter show account at Cast Strong Style. So please, like I said earlier, if you use that hashtag Cast of Strong Style, I'll get to see all your tweets and we'll interact, and we can, definitely go back and forth about what you think about New Japan, especially for people who are new to the product, who may be kind of getting, like I said, disenchanted with WWE and just looking for something different, palate cleanser. This is definitely the best palate cleanser you can get.
Yep.
So, Anwar, your shout outs and thank yous for this episode, sir.
Shout out to everyone who rocking me, and shout out to the people who don't. I appreciate you regardless the same. No hate.
All right. I'm going to give a shout out to JPK Moto. Hope she's doing well. Can't wait till she comes back from her excursion so we can, all 3 of us, get together and talk about this great product. And hopefully it'll be near the end of the G1 final, so we can maybe have one big grand show and talk about the finals. Give a shout out to you, Anwar, for being able to join me once again, talk about New Japan. It's really fun. I really love doing this show. I give a shout out to everybody out there who listens, everybody who follows the Cast of Strong Style Twitter account, everybody who follows the WrestleCast Twitter account, everybody who follows me. Thank you guys for, interacting and listening and supporting. We couldn't do it without you. So continue to support us the way that you do, and we'll continue to keep putting out the great content that we do. So on that note, for my co-host, Anwar Starman, I'm Don De Laurenti, and this has been Cast of Strong Style. All right, kind sir, I appreciate your time as always.
That's same.
And now I'm gonna go eat and watch a little bit of NXT and put this show together.
All right.
All right, man. Have a good weekend. Be